consumption of meat and dairy products and using animals for their materials may have been necessary at one point for survival. However, nowadays it's completely unnecessary to exploit and be cruel in torturing living animals just for our personal gain. Although many may argue we do not need meat and dairy to survive, in fact we're actually doing more harm than good, and this is why a lot of people are turning over to a plant-based vegan diet. The purpose of my speech today is to inform my peers about how veganism affects our lives and the benefits they have to 1, our bodies, 2, the animals, and 3, our environment. To begin, veganism is a lifestyle in which we strive to exclude all forms of cruelty and exploitation of animals. This includes not using them for food or entertainment or clothing, etc. The vegan diet has been proven to show many great impacts on our health. However, today I want to talk about the cardiovascular health as well as how it aids in reducing and even reversing diabetes. Dr. Bradley McEwen, who specializes in nutritional and urban medicine research, states that since the vegan diet is so nutrient rich with its vegetables and nuts and whole grains, it gives our bodies what it needs to fight off many cardiovascular, life-threatening diseases like metabolic syndrome, as well as strokes. In addition, according to an article written in Environmental Nutrition based on a study done by researchers at the George Washington University and the Physicians Committee for Responsible Nutrition, out of the 99 people who had tested positive for type 2 diabetes, the 75% of those 99 who followed a vegan diet showed great improvement on their diabetes. In fact, 43% of the 75% were able to reduce their medication doses or stop taking their medication for their diabetes altogether. Also, Thomas M. Campbell II, a medical director of the Weight Management and Lifestyle Center at Highland Hospital, stated that compared to non-vegetarians, those who followed a vegetarian diet were actually shown to have a 60% less chance of developing diabetes, and though even better, those who followed a vegan diet ended up having an 80% chance of not developing diabetes, and that is because for the last 75 years, diets that contain meat and high fats, such as the high fat that's in dairy, were linked to diabetes. There are plenty of health benefits that veganism brings about. However, some that I'm not going to go into detail about, but are worth knowing, are the risk reductions of developing obesity, gall and kidney stones, ulcers, and gastritis, as well as Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and macular degeneration. The health benefits are great to know. However, I want to talk about the ultimate benefit into the animals. Animals are confined in small cages, and most are deprived of sunlight and fresh air since they are usually kept in dark factory farms covered in their own feces. People view animals as food or materials instead of the living, breathing creatures that they are. Animals do get depressed, and they love and nurture, and most people overlook it because of various reasons like poor education or traditions, or just ignoring the fact because they want to keep up with a desired lifestyle. People also overlook the intelligence of animals possibly because they don't communicate like humans do. However, they do communicate in their own way and are intelligent in their own way. A great example to look at are the elephants. A book called Beyond Words, written by Carl Safina, an ecologist and a professor, followed a group of elephants for a long period of time, and in that time we learned that these elephants do recognize and communicate with each other, as well as pass down information to their young. Just because they don't understand us doesn't mean that they don't have their own system. Like humans, elephants express grief, and they demonstrate this by touching their loved ones' bodies to say goodbye, covering their bodies with leaves and dirt, and as well as recurrently visiting the grave sites. Elephants also are capable of playing and feeling compassion and annoyance. I also want to talk about this a species that everyone knows about, but I feel like they're really exploited, but they don't get enough credit, are pigs. Pigs are very smart. They perform well on tasks given to chimps, parrots, and dolphins to test mental abilities. They're also very aware of their surroundings. There's a couple pigs I want to talk about. One would be Nikki. She is a pig that escaped a slaughterhouse during a flood in Iowa while she was pregnant with her litter. She escaped, and even though she was lost and confused, she ended up giving birth to her litter and nursing them and protecting them, even though she was exhausted, hungry, and stressed. Despite her stress and exhaustion, she did nurse and protect her litter, but like humans, pigs do get stressed and their quality of life is affected. Rose is another pig who's has a story similar to Nikki's. She did escape a crate during the flood, but she already had her piglets and she lost them. They died. And because in turn she got really depressed, she stopped playing and she stopped eating. They had to syringe feed her. Both of these pigs were rehomed at the Farm Sanctuary in Watkins Glen, New York. And after a while, staff observing, they ended up putting Rose in Nikki's pen because Rose kept, showing interest in the piglets. After some time has passed, they both start to co-parent, and Rose starts to thrive and play and eat again. Although it's easy to ignore, animals are more like humans than we see. Animals don't want to die, and being vegan would benefit the animals because then it gives them a chance to live and spend time with their families and just, live on this earth like we do. For my visual, I want to show a couple things. To start, I have this group of elephants saying goodbye to their loved one in the middle. And these two kind of shows the curiosity and playfulness of elephants. They try to interact and they're socialized with other animals, as well as just play with objects like we would. And over here, I want to talk about Rose and Nikki. These top two pictures is Nikki with her piglets, and then down here is Rose. Lastly, I want to talk about the health or the benefits to the environment. There are numerous dangers to the environment because of the factory farms that we have. Factory farming is a form of concentrated farming with dense populations of livestock. I want to focus today on the contamination to the water and air from these farms. According to Joe Roman, an author and biologist, he states that manure is a main concern for our water system and for the toxins that are in it. Just to kind of give you a perspective, a cow can produce as much waste as about 10 people, and a pig produces as much as about 3. It's hard to tell how many animals are actually kept in factory farms at a time because it's constantly changing. But on average, about 9 million land animals are slaughtered each year for food in the United States. Andrew Dvorak, who's a Canadian journalist, wrote that the manure ends up in open-air lagoons. From these lagoons, they are then sprayed onto a land once they're full. Oftentimes the land does not absorb all of the mixture, and that mixture gets leaks into our water system that we use as humans. This is a bad thing because most waste, especially hog waste or pig waste, contains a lot of heavy metals and chemicals that are toxic to humans. Andrew also mentioned in the survey that kind of opens your eyes to the air pollution that factory farms create, because it teaches us that those who live downwind experience symptoms downwind from a hog farm experience symptoms like running nose, headaches, coughing, and diarrhea. We figured out that these are symptoms because methane, ammonia, and hydrogen sulfide were found coming from the hog farm and the waste, which caused respiratory illnesses in those who lived up to 2 kilometers away. If the whole population became vegan, this would benefit the environment because then factory farms would not exist. Therefore, the pollutants and the waste and chemicals would not be released into the atmosphere or the environment. To conclude, we talked about the benefits that a vegan lifestyle brings about. We talked about how it positively affects 1, our overall health, 2, the animals, and 3, the environment. If you want to make a positive influence and save the animals, the environment, and also have improve your overall health, then a vegan lifestyle may be something that you want to consider. However, if it's not, I do ask if you to share this information, because even though you're not ready for change, other people might be.